Hey, Portland, Oregon, ICE is in our city, and on Monday they snatched up a transgender woman who is here seeking asylum. In fact, according to her attorneys, they grabbed her as she was exiting the courtroom from an asylum hearing. KGW News says the 24-year-old from Mexico had just left a court hearing when ICE agents arrested her in an attempt to rapidly deport her, according to her law firm, Innovation Law Lab. We know this is a pattern around the country. People show up for their court-appointed hearings. People who are here using legal processes to get their green cards, such as asylum seekers. You have to enter the U.S. to apply for asylum. All over the country, ICE is basically waiting for people who are following the law. They are taking all of the correct steps. ICE is waiting for them to show up and do the right thing, and then they snatch them up. But according to KGW News, this is the first known ICE courthouse arrest in Portland. Across the country, ICE under the Trump regime has launched a broad crackdown on immigration, terminating prior guidelines for acceptable arrest locations. Under Biden, it was illegal for them to do ICE raids at hospitals, schools, and churches. One of the first things that the Trump regime did was remove those protections. And ICE has actively been trying to get into schools. ICE has been going to churches. They have been going to hospitals. We are hearing stories of pregnant immigrants who are afraid to go to the hospital to give birth because they are afraid that ICE will come and snatch them there. Whether or not they are going through legal proceedings, it literally doesn't matter right now. ICE is kicking American citizens out of this country. Like the legal status is completely irrelevant to this regime. KGW says that ICE has been catching asylum seekers, foreign students, lawful permanent residents, as well as undocumented workers in their dragnet. The Trump regime likes to falsely claim that they are trying to protect the American people from gangs and thugs, and that the only folks they are rounding up are violent criminals. But we are seeing over and over and over stories of mothers of young children, teenage girls, married men who are here with families, who are gainfully employed taxpayers, asylum seekers, college students. These are the folks that the Trump regime is going for. But let's specifically get back to the story of this woman from Portland. The asylum seeker allegedly arrested in Portland is a 24-year-old transgender woman from Mexico. She's being represented by the attorneys at Innovation Law Lab. The group said that her client, referred to by the pseudonym OJM, fled Mexico in September 2023 after suffering violence from a cartel due to her gender identity and sexual orientation. That meets the criteria to apply for asylum in the United States, at least until January it did. OJM attended her asylum hearing in Portland on Monday, where, according to her attorneys, ICE lawyers sought to dismiss her case. When she left the courtroom, ICE agents immediately arrested her. I hope every attorney who works for ICE, I hope every agent who works for ICE never knows another peaceful night's sleep again as long as they live. And I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I look forward to the day that they face accountability for what they're doing now. I hope birds shit all over the windshield of those ICE attorneys every single day. I hope that the tags on the back of their shirts bother them relentlessly. I hope their coffee's always too cold and their half and half is always curdled. I hope too much toothpaste comes out of the tube, and I hope that their apples are always mealy. Like, honestly, fuck every last one of these guys. When this regime has fallen and democracy is restored, I was just following orders is not going to protect you. That's not a viable defense against the human rights violations you are committing now. Okay, back to the article. This is a dangerous attempt by ICE to circumvent due process, speed up deportations, and eviscerate the right to asylum, said attorney Jordan Cunnings, who represents OJM. This unethical behavior goes against the values we hold as Oregonians, ensuring that everyone is welcomed and included in our state. OJM's attorneys claim that she had properly filled out her asylum application, but ICE has attempted to place her in expedited removal, a quote, rapid deportation process with minimal protections. Courthouse arrests destroy the integrity of our legal system and undermine the rule of law, Cunnings said. We ask immigrants and refugees who are fleeing violence to abide by an asylum process. Detaining them for showing up to court is heartbreaking and harmful to our justice system. Advocates also are expressing concern about detention conditions for OJM. Under President Donald Trump's executive orders, transgender women are instructed to be detained with men. No one, including transgender women, should be incarcerated in unsafe detention facilities where their lives are at risk. That statement was from Reina Lopez on behalf of Oregon for All. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, in response to a request for comment, provided a statement broadly about arrests at immigration courts. Secretary Noem is reversing Biden's catch-and-release policy that allowed millions of unvetted illegal aliens to be let loose on American streets. The administration is once again implementing the rule of law. Well, that was just riddled with lies. And notice this insistence on dehumanizing immigrants by calling them illegal aliens. If you are here and you have filed for asylum, you are here legally. You have a right to be here through the asylum process. You are following the legal United States process to gain asylum. Here we go. This is from Homeland Security again. Most aliens who illegally entered the United States within the past 2 years are subject to expedited removals. Coming into the United States, applying for asylum, and properly following those procedures is not illegally entering the U.S. I'm not going to quote the rest of it because it just goes on to blame Biden a bunch. It seems like Homeland Security has taken up Trump's obsession with blaming Biden for everything. The quote goes on to continue to call immigrants aliens and illegals, and then says that if there is no credible fear that they will be harmed back in their the place they're being deported to, that they can be removed expeditiously. Under its own interim internal guidance, ICE is now permitted its agents to conduct enforcement actions in or near courthouses. I just want to encourage you, if you're in Portland and you have more skills or knowledge about how to handle these things better than I do, this woman needs our help. I don't exactly know what the most effective thing to do here is. So if you know, can you please let me know in the comments so that I can share broadly? I know there have been other communities around the country that have gotten their neighbors released from ICE, that have been able to defend folks in their community from being snatched up in the first place. And I think we in Portland would be remiss if we were not figuring out how to best protect the rights of everybody who lives here. So if you have thoughts or suggestions or like really practical advice about how we could help this woman, please let me know. Please let everybody know.